Travis Wayne Goodsell. So, short videos of mine take a long time to make because I have to make pictures, put them into the right place, and make video clips, put them into the right place. And then this morning, it seemed like I was being hacked. People were impatient for my video and were waiting to pounce on me this morning. But nonetheless, here we are. As I noticed in the news that now, because of the seditious conspiracy of our Supreme Court, now once a woman is raped, upon rape, a woman no longer has rights. An embryo now has more rights than a woman. That's the consequences of that state's judgment ruling, that an embryo, which is from the time of conception to 3 months, when the embryo turns into a fetus, metamorphosizes into a fetus. This is where it's heading. This is America. America has fallen. 14th Amendment, Section 1, women, not a fetus, not an embryo. Because the next step is to say that men's sperm have more rights than a woman. That's the next step. That's what this means. A man's sperm penetrates her egg, and boom, woman loses all rights. So, yeah, this is abominable. And women did not fight hard enough when Roe v. Wade was overturned. The Democrats in 2021 knew what they needed to have done to reverse everything of Trump, and they didn't, and they hesitated, and here we are. The Democrats are purposely caving to MAGA, and apparently even progressives are now voting for Trump. Oh my God, the devil never. Do you understand what the meaning of never means? Never supports his own. Me love showed me no love. What color skin are those who are typically Islamic? Typically. Now there are exceptions, converts often, but darker skin. And is Trump a racist, or does he welcome all races? No! If you have already forgotten, Trump used to say they need to go back to their bleep hole countries. Me a love showed me no love. You know what's gonna happen. That Congresswoman Tlaib is inciting the mob against Biden and is gonna make Trump the winner. They're helping Trump because she's trying to threaten Biden to give up support for Israel. She is supporting terrorism against Israel, and in so doing is elevating the domestic terrorists right here in America. People just don't think. They don't want to care about the consequences of their beliefs and actions. 14th Amendment, Section 3. All of them are supposed to be gone. Nobody cares about the Constitution. It has fallen. It is not on the brink of ruin. It has fallen. So, Jasmine comment reply. She sent me a couple of emails And I'm going to cry because Jasmine doesn't like. I made her Captain Marvel Jasmine, and she doesn't like it. It's the wrong costume. Are you kidding me, Jasmine? That's her better one. You need to see it through a man's eyes. It's puke green, she thinks. And then she also is trying to guilt me into crying. It is a common female condition to get men to express their feelings. You gotta pay attention. You gotta be careful about what you wish for, what you want, and what you demand, because you'll get it and then you'll regret it. She was wanting to know why I'm so down lately, and so I told her. You want me to tell you? All right. Are you ready? Here he comes. It's my little Lissa's birthday in 4 more days. And I haven't seen her in 27 years. So yeah, women, are you sure you want to handle this? Are you sure? You sure you don't want men to just be men? Make us mysterious. Well, yep. So now she's now regretting it. Now she doesn't want to comment anymore. Jasmine, we need you to comment to distract us from our feelings that you yanked out of us. We really do need sex education taught. Women learning about not only their bodies, but a man's bodies and his emotional, behavioral responses in accordance with his biological functioning of his anatomy. And likewise, men for women. We cannot cover it up and hide and keep silent about it and make them feminine secrets and get upset if a man is curious and is asking questions. Is it that time of the month? Man was found dead today in his apartment. His girlfriend is missing. Need to be nice. Love. That's it. That's the only commandment in all of the Jewish scripture that has been stolen. Just love. Just love. So, on LDS Church still announces second coming of Jesus Christ. They're still going to go through with it. Hang on, Mormons. Hang on. And so she says, hey, Travis, so James got into it again with the Christians and a Mormon. Most likely on the Facebook account, I would believe. Tried to come to his... and a Mormon tried to come to his defense. Okay. So it's that Facebook channel, Christians versus Mormons, and James is a part of it, and got a death threat from a Mormon the last time, and so this time a Mormon is coming to his defense. He actually told him thanks for the help, but he's got this. Yeah. Yeah. Too many people think that they can share credit for a defense. I've gotten that often. You know, there are people who try to add to a comment reply that I allow to go through of a person that I'm hoping would change their mind. And so, no, I don't need any other person's help. I got this. Just like James, he's got this. He knows what he was doing when he went in. The subject was Mary Magdalene. Ooh. And how she was a preacher, an apostle, and prophet, according to lost books found in Egypt by Egyptian farmers in December 1945, the Nag Hammadi texts. It was about why women who used to run things are now second-class citizens. Constantine, the Dark Ages. Yeah, that's why. Even the Vatican finally admitted that she was not a prostitute in 1969. Let's see, the Independent covers the whole thing. It was the 6th century, which means 500s CE, when a certain pope designated her as such. There's a Wikipedia page. Who framed Mary? Ooh, a picture. Porn. Yeah, we can put it in this file. Alrighty. Pope Gregory I, in 591 CE, conflated Mary Magdalene as a prostitute. And the unnamed sinful woman who anointed Jesus' feet. So he went all out. Each of the different bad girls. Get to listen to that song again this morning. Yay! Well, in 1969, Pope Paul VI removed the identification of Mary Magdalene with Mary of Bethany and the sinful woman. I think Luke 8:2. Actually says it's Mary called Magdalene. Kind of hard to say that that's not Mary Magdalene. So yeah, it's just, he removed Mary Magdalene from Mary of Bethany. You guys need to know Hebrew. You need to know Hebrew. That will help you. That will help you. Those popes causing so many problems. But again, that's another example of you start with a false belief and then it branches out into absurdity. Gets out of control. So, yeah. Let's see, that again. I did not know this, but over 50% of the women in Palestine at that time were named either Mary or Salome. They believe in Jesus too. Also didn't know that the Luke chapter 7 story was about Mary of Bethany, the sister of Lazarus, not Mary Magdalene. Yeah, there's so many problems, isn't there? You know, and it's not, and I hope Jasmine knows, because she says she knows, and so it's just the world's knowledge of this, but every single one of the gospel stories are independent of each other. The various authors assembled those Egyptian documents and combined them together into a narrative, similar to what I did with my video this morning. And so doesn't even say it's Bethany. Trying to find Bethany in the text. He went into a city called Nain. Yeah, I'm not seeing Bethany here. Maybe it's afterward. Jesus the drunk. Okay, because this is what it says in verse 36, and it has the new paragraph symbol at the beginning of it, which means it's a completely separate document inserted in by the author. It says, and one of the Pharisees desired him that he would eat with him, and he went in to the Pharisee's house and sat down to meat. And behold, a woman in the city, which was a sinner, when she knew that Jesus sat at meat in the Pharisee's house, brought an alabaster box of ointment, and stood at his feet behind him weeping, and began to wash his feet with tears, and did wipe them with the hairs of her head, and kissed his feet, and anointed them with the ointment. Now when the Pharisee which had bidden him saw it, he spake within himself, saying, this man, if he were a prophet, say everybody thinks they know how a prophet should be and act and behave. Just like Mormons, they think they know how I'm supposed to be, behave, and act towards the church. Would have known who and in what manner of woman this is that toucheth him, for she is a sinner. Bad girls talking about the sad girls. And Jesus answering said unto him, Simon. Oh, it's Peter. It's the same argument that the popes use to connect and disconnect. Somewhat to say unto thee. And then he does a parable to show that Simon did not rightly judge her. And he turned to the woman and said unto Simon, Seest thou this woman? I entered into thine house, thou gavest me no water for my feet. Oops. But she did it. Yeah, the Pharisee was a sinner. Yeah, that was the custom of the time. To, if you come over for a home teaching or visiting teaching visit, which no longer exists in the church because Nelson did away with them, it's now the ministering program. But the family or the person, the head of the house, is supposed to make sure that you are fed and your feet are washed, because you didn't have vehicles, you walked everywhere, so your feet got dirty with the sandals, and thus the washing of feet. And so this other woman did it, and because she didn't have any water, she used her tears, weeping. Jasmine is awesome. I just, why, Jasmine? Why do you always complain about yourself? Stop it. Stop it. And no kiss. The woman gave him a kiss instead. Everybody's having fun but me. And he didn't anoint him, and she anointed him, and so her sins are forgiven because she showed the fruits of repentance. The Pharisee, however, naughty. So I don't see Bethany, I don't see Mary. The popes are out to lunch. So, but Mary and Martha, the sisters of Lazarus, is what you're talking. And so it's obviously not Luke 7. So let's find what chapter you are actually talking about. Mary, Martha, John. Now, John 11. Now a certain man was sick, named Lazarus, of Bethany, the town of Mary and her sister Martha. It was that Mary which anointed the Lord with anointment and wiped his feet with her hair, whose brother Lazarus was sick. And that's why the Pope connected the two together. And notice it's in parentheses, which means it was added after the original document was written. So, yeah, a redactor is what it's called, added this in, and thus attaches to the actual Pope in 591, whatever his name was it Gregory? Gregory the First, and Am my associated memory correct on that one, or is that the other Pope? No, it was John Paul VI, wasn't it? The one who reversed it. And so, yeah, this was added. Verse 2 in John chapter 11 was added after 591 BCE. See how that works? It is not on the original document. This is how you do linguistic science. And so, removing that, you have Lazarus of Bethany, the town of Mary, and her sister Martha. And so there is no connection with the previous story, and like I said, they're all separate stories, and the authors inserted the stories to create a narrative. And so this is interesting. It's Bethany in Hebrew is Beth, which means house or daughter, depending on the yod insertion, but most likely it doesn't have the yod insertion, so it's house. And the N at the end is for kingdom, the kingdom of the house. And so Mary is the one often associated with Jesus as his wife, as John is the only one who talks about Mary, his wife, at the tomb of Jesus. And thus why she's of Bethany, the house of the king, the queen, Mary. So again, Jasmine is awesome. She is smarter than she doesn't want to believe. And she wants to go silent. Grr. Jasmine! Well, the Mormon agreed with James about the second class thing. That's when he got into it with him. And James asked him to name a religion currently practiced that has women as equals. The Community of Christ, they now have a female president. And Mormons sent me hate comments saying it was a fake story. And oops, the Mormon said Christianity. Oh dear God. It's kind of important, Mormons, to know Christianity before you speak about it. It's also important to know Mormonism before you speak about it. And James informed him that Christianity is a made-up religion from the Nicene Council, and it's not literal history but prophetic teachings from the scriptures that they stole from the Jews. And so yes, ignorant Mormons quickly run. And so yeah, he left that chat after that. Did my hubby do okay? Yeah, he's awesome. He knows how to handle himself. He really wants your opinion. Really? Okay. He could have asked. So, who is learning from who here to keep silent? And so, yeah, that's exactly what it was. Constantine, by turning it into literal history, therefore, Jews now murdered Jesus and women are now subservient to men, not understanding that the Jews treated their women better. And so these authors are predicting the future, and Constantine went into fulfilling the prophecies with his abominable creation of Christianity with the Nicene Council. And so, yes, the Dark Ages is the best way to describe it, because that's the term for that period of time after Constantine created Christianity. And, because of their deep obsession about women being sinful from the fall, now that women needed to keep covered up. And so then Islam emerges, and their women now have to completely cover up, even a mask, veil over their face, so that they cannot be seen, because of the, false belief branches out into absurdity. And so, what Constantine did is encapsulated in one word, abominable, but it doesn't fully express how abominable it was. And unfortunately, Christians think that as long as they're not that anymore, that Christianity is now good and true. Like Mormons. We're not racist anymore since 1978. You still have that dead branch sticking out of your tree. And so, you have the Spanish Inquisition with the witch trials that carried over into America with the Salem witch trials. It's just awful how women are treated, and yet because of this abuse, women, for the most part, still think their church is true. Right, Mormon women? Mormon women will not go to the Joseph Smith papers that the church has released. They're the authoritative original documents. And 17th of March, 1842, all women know the date, and they won't go to the document to see that, this church is false. Oakes is abominable for saying that God will never allow us the priesthood office, as well as priesthood. And there it is, right there, in that meeting, in those minutes. And so I'm still baffled, and can only think that women are involved in what's called Stockholm Syndrome, where they have become emotionally attached to their abuser, the prophets. And therefore think that, he's still a good guy. He didn't mean to beat me. I just want to cry. You literally have to yank those women out of that relationship, as domestic violence is also increasing in the state of Utah, as I'm finding in the news. But, and then have to strap them down and re-educate them, because they are just far gone. As you listen to them talk, blaming themselves for their husband's abuse, for the prophet's abuse. And there is no other way other than to force them to wipe their slate clean and start all over with the truth. And unfortunately, our society and the nation sends such victims to psychologists, and that just screws them up even further. Because psychologists are also the abusers, because they're the ones who created Stockholm Syndrome. All the problems are created by psychologists, and then they promote them onto the people to say, oh, wow, if you've got these symptoms, you're this. And so people go, oh, yeah, I see it in you. You're that. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. You're in denial that you're that. And thus the abuse begins. just like for somebody who kidnapped somebody in Stockholm. Was it a bank? I'm seeing images of the original photos of the thing, because there was like, it seemed like there was a whole bunch of lockboxes behind the people who were trapped. That's what's coming to mind. But yeah, and so that particular psychologist went over the case files from the court and developed what's called Stockholm Syndrome. And so it's incomplete and inaccurate, and there's more to it than what he created from it. And I've noticed that. After I was abandoned and betrayed by my first ex, and getting over the crying, my mom had gotten an assignment from Relief Society to teach the Relief Society lesson that coming Sunday, and so she asked me if I would share what kind of feelings I went through after Stephanie left. And she had her psychological book that she was using for the lesson, and she was expecting me to match the book. And so she was going to check off what I had from the guy in the book. And so okay, you asked for it. You can ask for my feelings. You asked for it. And the bishop, Stephanie's bishop, the first wife's bishop, who sent me a letter saying, share your feelings about having the sealing canceled by her request. Okay, you asked for it. Hinckley immediately approved the sealing cancellation. Are you sure you want to go there, women? And so, yeah, I was telling her in graphic detail of all that I was going through, and I saw my mom. She was going through, and then she closed the book, got a pen, got a paper, and started writing stuff down. I am the source of knowledge. Not some dumbass psychologist wanting to be popular and conform people's behavior to what they want them to conform to. So, yeah, go ahead. Ask me about my feelings. I dare you. And so, yeah, the psychological book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, that's purposely designed for the populace to read the book and then say, oh, I'm female, I guess I must be Venus, I guess I'm supposed to behave this way. Likewise, men for Mars. And thus, he'd getcha. Throw the book away and burn it. You are not Venus, you are not Mars. You are you. Be who you want to be, not who other people say you are to be. We need to tell each other the truth. All right? So there's my opinion. All right. So Jasmine edited this in. I found this, and I am waiting to share it with the missionaries. John Taylor quote, that black folks, did he say black folks? Because Brigham Young used Negro. Was John Taylor going to black? Are you sure this is the right quote? That black folks were here to represent Satan and to have a balance against white folks, who were here to represent Jesus Christ. Yeah, white saviors. The Savior. How do you damn a people more than to say that their existence upon the earth is to represent Satan? Yeah, Mormons do it by saying Korahor. That's exactly what they mean. And I get it so often. So often. Alrighty. So that's the Jasmine comment. I mean, we can check to see if there's any more in the emails. No comment on the Virgin Mary, Jasmine. Just about the green suit. I actually like that. That's why I used it. I'm watching In Plain Sight that I had purchased earlier this month and had to convert to digital to replace the recorded copy that I had bought previously and recorded. And and so yeah, and was it the first or the second? I think it was the first. Their boss, she's a U.S. Marshal, helping people disappear and erase them, like Arnold Schwarzenegger in The Eraser. And so their boss, who gives them assignments, is hot for her. and talks to her partner, saying that he wants to give her a birthday gift, and says he had bought perfume for her. Her partner says she doesn't wear perfume, but she smells nice. Yeah, that's just that she smells nice. And so then he goes and buys her white or pink, and they're beautiful pumps. And then Mary comes by, sees them, and says, "Who's those for?" This was from evidence. And then Mary trashes them as something that only a whore would wear. and so, yes, I'm thinking all about Jasmine here. And she doesn't like the green suit. Hilarious. And so, yeah. Jasmine is awesome. I still need to transfer over the files so that she can help me with that project that I asked her for way back when. It was a week ago on the 13th. Yeah, last week. Alrighty.